Hi, friends. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is having a great day. It's pretty windy here right now. It's been raining for the last 24 hours or so. We got hit with a northeastern here. There's a lot of people without power. I got lucky though, so I'm good. Anyway, Deja Vu. For those of you who are familiar with that phrase, expression, and what it represents, these things are basically what I call soul memory. You know, when we meet someone like we feel we've known them forever, we go to some place we never been before, and you can swear that you've been there before. You know the place, and so forth. And that happens a lot throughout our lives. And most of the time, we go through these things without understanding why these things happen and why we have these feelings. But it's basically just a faint remembrance or soul memory that somehow you got to retain. And it's a recognition of the soul of these experiences that you've had before, but you don't quite remember the whole picture. It is much more prominent with people in general, people that you meet throughout your life. It could be friends, it could be, it could be relatives, it could be a romantic partner, people that you feel you have this like unbreakable bond with. And the funny thing about how deja vu works is that happens to us a lot in the form of dreams as well. This is something I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. So stay with me. I'll explain. A lot of times we will have dreams that we are in certain places we've never been before. There is something happening, some experience, some whatever the scenario is in the dream. But as it is happening in the dream, you feel this extreme familiarity, like a remembrance. It's almost like you are reliving a memory of something that you have experienced, and you don't know how to quite put it yourself, because these things they're weird like that when they happen, right? And then after you wake up, you're like scratching your head and asking yourself, what was that all about? Because it's a thing. I've had some pretty bizarre dreams throughout my life. And I've talked about that before, how, dreams are very personal things and stuff, and we shouldn't be telling everyone and their mother what we dream about, because a lot of things sometimes they're meant just for you and you alone. And it's not going to mean anything for anybody else other than yourself. there's always some sort of like coded message in our dreams. There's always a meaning behind the dream, no matter how absurd and ridiculous it may seem. That's the crazy thing about dreams themselves. But I've had dreams throughout my life where I was in places that I can definitely tell you without a doubt it was not on this planet, based upon what the place looked like, um, what the place looked like, the architecture that existed at the place, the way people were dressed in it, which is something that I'll put it to you this way. I've been to places in dreams that were definitely not this planet. It was something out of the craziest sci-fi movie you've ever seen, and I've never seen movies with that kind of stuff in it. So how is it that my mind, or or dare I say my memory, fabricated something like that out of the blue with no explanation whatsoever? People dressed in a way that I've never seen that type of attire on anybody in any time throughout mankind's history. So I know for a fact that these dreams, they were some sort of memory of something that I have lived somewhere else. And I was just remembering it. And those were some of the coolest dreams that I have ever had. Because the way it felt when I was on those places was like, I felt like I was home. That's how it felt to me. And then you wake up and you're like, take me back, please. Cause that felt right. That felt like, being home. And a lot of us don't feel home here these days because of how messed up everything is and how out of place everything is. How you don't feel you have a lot in common with people around here. It's just weird sometimes. But that's basically what deja vu means. It's it's a memory or a fragment of a memory of something that you have lived before. Whether it is people you meet throughout your life, romantic, you know, partnerships you may have or may have had, locations, places you never been before, and then it's like you go to that place that you've never been to, and immediately you recognize that place and everything in it and its surroundings and everything. How do you explain something like that? Yeah, there's all kinds of like absurd, ridiculous explanations out there, but there's nothing that is rational or makes sense that I've looked into. And that's why I come to this logical conclusion and deduction that these are just memories that we have, real memories of things that we have lived before, that somehow they just come up. They get triggered by certain things that happen in our lives. It's pretty fascinating stuff. I if you like these things, I would say look into it, do some research, and you're gonna find out that there's a lot more to it than people talk about. There are so many of these cases of children that remember everything from entire past lives that they've had. And it's funny, the way it works with children though is that for some reason, some children are born with these memories, but then they only get to keep those memories up until a certain age, and then it's like they lose it all after that point. It all goes away, or most of it goes away. And people, should be studying these things to try understand why these things happen and how to make these things not happen, because wouldn't it be cool if people could retain all these memories and use that in a present environment, a present life, to their own advantage, so to speak. Yeah, I think it's very, very cool stuff to look into. This is all I really want to talk about on this one. So if you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Never stop loving yourself. I love you all. And I will catch you all on the next one. Take care, my friends.